back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. So today we're doing another pour. Oh, you cannot see what I'm doing? Well, let me show you. You're still not able to see it? Well, let me show you up close. Can you see now? Look at how tiny this thing is. It's just miniature, but I want to try it. So we're going to be pouring on a tiny canvas and let's just see if it actually works. So I've got my little canvas ready and my little pouring cup. I think we're going to be needing to hold it down because I think it's going to float, but let's just try. And I hope I have enough paint, but it's a tiny canvas. It's 10 by 10 centimeters. My paint might be a little bit thick, so this could take a while to start going through, if it's going to go through at all. Nothing seems to be happening. It's almost completely full. I think I need to water my paint down quite a bit because something's going through. It's just going very slow. So let's just do some more paint. Let me get my phone out and shoot some B-roll for you so you can see the side. So definitely paint is coming out from the side. So I'm just gonna keep pouring and see what happens. I think I might go and find a book to read or something. It's that slow. Could be that my canvas is also dry, but it's definitely moving. I'm going to get some paint for around the sides. Let's see if it helps to wet the canvas a little bit. Okay, so let's pour some more paint. Oh, the black might be too thick. Let me see if I can scoop it out. Nope. I'm just hoping by putting more paint on, it will push it through quicker.
10 minutes later.
So there's definitely movement. And I think I'm going to do one more round of paint. And then I'm just going to let it drain for a little bit. Then we should have enough paint on here to cover this canvas. I'm really curious how it's going to look underneath when I pick it up. But I'm seeing some really cool effects going on the sides. So I'll just let it drain for a little bit more. And then we'll be back to try and tilt this. So I just switched out my camera lens and you can see it a little bit better now. It's slowly going down. I just need a little bit more paint. So let's just try and do one more round. The reason I have my other lens on here is because I can manually focus that one and it will stay put. This one likes to focus on anything that has my hand in it. So we'll just have to wait a little bit longer and then we're going to lift it up and see what we get. So I think we've waited long enough, so let's pick it up. So it actually looks pretty good. Let's watch this again, but this time in slow motion. And let's just tilt this one out. Zoom me out a little bit. So remember, this is a 10 by 10 centimeter canvas, so it's tiny. Just going to slowly move it to one corner and back. I didn't use the best of paints, so we might get some funky reactions. But I just wanted to see if this miniature paint pouring cup will actually work. Let's just go over one corner and back. So the moment you go over the corner of the canvas, you anchor that paint in place and then it actually starts to really stretch. Let's get the center back a little bit more and see if we can actually make it to the other two corners. Probably gonna use this little thing again, but with a little bit better paint instead of some leftovers. So let's just help it move over the sides by just putting some paint on them. I was hoping to paint with clean hands, but that's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna stretch it to this side and I'll show you in a little bit. So this is what we got. I am going to try and let it dry, but I think I'm gonna mix up some different paints a little bit thinner and we'll have a second go. So I mixed up some paint. It's this Fluor paint set from the Action. It's just kids paint, but I tried to level it up by using some Floetrol in it. So let's see if it works. I think I'm going to wet the canvas a tiny bit, just with some water instead of paint, just to help it flow a little bit better. I'm also going to be doing, I think, a little bit bigger layers. Let's see if I can pour it in. Hopefully I didn't make the paint too thin. Maybe let's do some more yellow and then orange. See how much easier it's flowing right now? Let's let it flow for a little bit. I think putting water on the canvas really helped. And the other one, I think that's a fail because I dropped it. So you might end up just seeing this one. It really surprises me at how well it stays put on the canvas. I can see how you can use it on a bigger canvas as well. It is still painfully slow compared to a big one. So let's let it drain. But first let's pull up the cup. Oh, it looks so nice. So let me put it on the spinner. So I picked it up and I figured out that the paint is really runny. So I think it's not going to work. Just pull it over the edges a little bit so it's going to run. But I made the paint way too thin. So let's see. Kind of scared of spinning it and it going flying because it's not stuck down. So I'm always scared of using green and orange together because you get this messy brown. Let's just try it one more time. But I don't think it's going to dry. It's just too liquidy. Let's just try and tilt it. It's so hard to figure out how much water you need. So I think I'm gonna scrape this painting and try and use this canvas again because it's just way too thin. Let's try this again. So no matter what I try, thick paint, thin paint, in-between paint, it's just not running. I'm going to just try and drill out this hole and see if I can make it a little bit thicker. I might try to get it a little bit bigger than this. So I'm going to try and put up a side-by-side on how it's looking now versus how it did before. And I'm just going to continue pouring paint and see if it's going to work. If it does, you will see an end result. If it doesn't, then it's just a big fail and you shouldn't buy this. This is a big fail. I'm probably just gonna delete the footage and that's that. So let's try this with a little bit more expensive paint. So I'm using a combination of Lucas and Amsterdam. And I added some water and some Oatrol to it. So let's see if this will actually work. And I'm really hoping that the hole now is the right size. So I think I might help this to spread a little bit so we don't get just a lot of the colors going underneath this blue. So let's add a little bit more paint. The flow's looking good. It seems to be going through the funnel a little bit easier. It might become a little bit of a darker piece. And I'm just going to use, I think, most of the paint, but not all. So I have something to put on the sides if I need to. I think that's enough layers. So let's leave it at that. It's going through the funnel really nicely. So that's giving me hope that this time I will succeed. It should be fully drained now, which it didn't do with the other paint. So let's see what happens. Let's zoom you out a little bit. Let's torch it. Well, that's interesting. Let's try and tilt this. I don't think I have enough contrast, so I'm sad about that. Should have probably used some white. Let's start by going over the side, but I want to put some paint on the side just to help it flow evenly. Okay, so let's just go for it. The center is looking stunning. I'm going to try and open it up a little bit more, but try not to overstretch it. I'm just looking where I missed some sides just to help it spread evenly. Okay, you see how cool this is looking? So I'm going to stretch it this way. I'm going to stop right before it hits the edge. I'm going to carefully try and stretch it back. I don't want to leave too much paint on the canvas, but I also don't want it to overstretch. So I'm going to carefully try and open up that center a little bit more. And I really like that little, oh, you can see. I really like that little ring here. So I'm going to stretch it to this side. It's so hard to show you, it's so reflective. But it's not moving as fast anymore, so I think I'm almost done tilting. I think I'm just going to bring it back to the center a little bit. So I think I'm done, but I'm going to torch it one more time, just a little bit. See if I can bring up any more of that gold, but I don't want to overdo it. But I can see it being underneath these areas. I also want to try and get some of that lighter color to come up. You cannot see, it's so reflective. Let me turn off the ring light. Maybe that's a little bit better. What I'm doing is I'm just burning off the water that's in my mixture. and that exposes the paint underneath. You don't want it to do too much because then it's going to burn the paint. So I think I'm loving it, and hopefully it will dry nice and I can actually get some nice pictures for you to see. But using this little tiny thing works, but you need high quality pigmented paint that you can water down, and I would use some kind of paint extender like a float roll of an oil roll to keep the paint from breaking up. But yeah, it definitely works. So I will show you the dry result. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye everyone!